Hey yo, I'm back with another video. And today, there isn't really much to talk about regarding UFC since there is no fight card this weekend. But we have this weird fight boxing event that is going to take place this weekend. That is on 30th August. This is going to be an influencer boxing. I don't know whether this is false. The reason I wanted to talk about this card, there was actually one particular fight that I wanted to talk about in this fight card. That was this particular fight between Tony El Cucuy Ferguson versus the Daniel Bustamante, that is Salt Papi. And I I just wanted to talk about this fight because there is nothing that I really want to talk about in UFC. I mean, there are a couple of fights that has been announced, but I don't think anybody really wants to talk about those fights now. But after searching, I found out that there are some other good fights that are going to take place on this fight card. Like the main event is really good with Darren Till and Luke Rockhold fighting each other. Darren Till, who's only 32 but looks like a 40-year-old man. He looks like a 50-year-old man, 45 at least. And Luke Rockhold, who is actually 40 but looks kind of young. He looks like he's in his 30s. And at one point of time, Luke Rockhold used to be the most good-looking MMA fight, I think, according to a lot of uh, female audience. And of course, there is something that uh, happened in the world of mixed martial arts. That is the son of Quinton Rampage Jackson, who really uh, almost like that was like an attempt to take the life of that individual, like the son of Rampage Jackson. I think his name was Raja Jackson. I think he almost took the life of another person. And I don't really want to talk too much about it because that's not my way. I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, that's something really sad that is happening in the world of MMA. And between that and this, I kind of want to talk about this because I don't live in America. I don't know how the justice system in America works. So it's better for me to just keep talking about mixed martial arts and not about people behaving like lunatics and behaving like, I don't like just basically this criminal activities people are going through. And if you cannot control yourself, then you do not have any right to call yourself a martial artist. That's just my opinion. You need to know how to control your anger. Dudes are grown up at this point of time. But anyway, without to be further ado, let us move on and talk about this fight card. There isn't really that many fights. Like I don't know anybody here. Semi is Nares Hopkins. I have no idea. I'm not gonna talk about this people because I'm not even going to watch this stuff. But this is interesting that Darren Till is going to finally fight. Like Darren Till fighting in boxing is 2-0 in boxing. That just makes no sense. How is it 2-0 in boxing? Or is this, I think that is his MMA report, right? They probably do not take into account of his, I think they probably do not take into account the boxing matches that Dylan Dennis has had in his career. Dylan Dennis is also 32, so he's kind of not exactly that old. He lost to Logan Paul in unsportsmanlike conduct, round six. And yeah, I mean, look at him. Like, he has had more losses than wins in his career. So, yeah, I mean, the dude talks a lot. He's a funny character and he's just there lurking in the shadows. He's always there in the comment section of anything related to combat sports or mixed martial arts or boxing. He's always there. Jiu-jitsu, he's always there to say something stupid. And yeah, I think he'll probably defeat this guy, whoever this dude is. I have no idea. His name is Tippergary. I don't think that's his name. I think this guy is probably actually a mechanic. Interesting stuff, man. You're living in a weird world. Like, you're living in a weird times. Uh, Pro boxing record, he has 1 win, 0 losses. He defeated his last opponent, who was Uganzi Hakim. I have no idea who this guy. He has lost 2 exhibition bouts, and then he decided to become a pro. Uh, Interesting dude. Like, I don't even know when. I don't even want to talk about it. But since I do not have anything else to talk about, I guess this is what I have to talk. This is what I have to make a video about. Louis Essex is going to fight against Sal Barboza. I don't even know who the hell it is. All right. So let's talk about the co-main event. Like, let's be honest, in anybody who's watching this fight card, that they're going to watch it for Tony Ferguson and this guy, Salt Papi. I mean, all the MMA fans, they're probably going to watch it for Tony Ferguson and, of course, Darren Till and Luke Rockhold. They have a good fan base. And I think Tony has a bigger fan base, at least like when it comes to the hardcores of mixed martial arts. And the fact that Tony, at one point of time, used to be the and in the lightweight division, he was the boogeyman. There is a reason everyone called him the boogeyman. But after that fight against Justin Gaethje, we have seen the deterioration. We have seen the decline of Tony Ferguson right in front of our eyes. The dude is on an 8-fight losing streak. He went on a 12-fight winning streak after losing to Michael Johnson by a unanimous decision. He went on a he went on a 12-fight winning streak and then fought against Justin Gaethje and then went on this crazy 8-fight losing streak. After Justin Gaethje 7-fight losing streak, he lost to Charles Oliveira, he lost to Beneil Dariush, got knocked out by Michael Chandler with a front kick. That was a really brutal front kick. And of course, lost to Nate Diaz, lost to Bobby King Green, lost to Paddy Pimblett, and then eventually lost to Michael Chiesa. And then, of course, after that, he, I believe, retired from mixed martial arts. I think he has retired from MMA because otherwise, I don't think Dana would let it fight in a boxing event out of just whip. I believe he is retired from UFC, or at least he's stopped from UFC. Something has happened. I don't know what. I mean, because it's his Tony. Like, you never really can take anything that Tony Ferguson says as 100% truth. Like, Tony Ferguson, I do not think that Tony Ferguson lies, but he has had some issues. He has had some issues in the past when we talk about his mental health. So he might not lie. He just might believe something that he has said and it is eventually true. But I have seen a lot of Tony Ferguson fights. Like, I've watched the rise of Tony Ferguson. Not exactly rise, like the prime of Tony Ferguson when he was beating people like Edson Barboza, and then there was Kevin Lee, Anthony Pettis, Donald Cabo Cerrone. Like, Tony Ferguson was putting up beating on Kusu of the lightweight division. He made people in the lightweight division look like amateurs. And not even amateurs, like his fights always were brutal. And Tony Ferguson was never really a technical fighter. Like, he does not really have good boxing fundamentals. But the fact that he is a weird fighter, he's a slats, and that works. That used to work because of his athletic abilities. Like, he was a phenomenal freaky athlete. Like, you could just bend his body in different ways. He was really explosive in weird ways. He could roll out of submissions. You could roll out of grappling scenarios, which normally you'll never see someone do that. But Tony just did that. He was that crazy. But after, but at this age, at 41, he just does not have that athletic abilities. He does not have the physical advantage that he used to have at one point of time. And also, this is going to be a boxing power, but he won't be using his elbows. He won't be using his knees, his grappling, his kicks. His boxing is decent, but that's not like versus someone who is younger than him and also someone like who has been boxing, like legit training how to box. I think Tony Ferguson is going to lose this fight. He's probably going to get knocked out. Maybe not get knocked out, but he's going to get beaten up for like multiple rounds. And this will be very sad for us to watch. This will be heartbreaking for all MMA fans to watch. That is what I believe is going to happen. Michael Chiesa, King Green, Perry ADS, Chandler, Darius, Oliveira. Like, look at this. Let me just, talk about nostalgia and just let us just look at the report of Tony Ferguson when he was fighting in UFC. Defeated Ramsey Nizam, and this was, I believe, the Ultimate Fighter finale. I think so. And then Aaron Riley, I don't know who he was. Eve Edwards defeated him, lost to Michael Johnson. But then he went on this crazy winning streak, defeated Mike Rio, Katsunori Kikuno, Danny Castillo, Abel Tublio, Ethan Tibau, Brennick, it choked him. Finish, decision. Toss Conson won by unanimous decision. Edson Barboza finished it with a Tart Show. Ledo Vanata, Tart Show. Rafael Dos Anjos, decision. Kevin Lee, I think it was a triangle. Anthony Pettis, Dr. Stoppage, I remember this fight. This was after the injury that he had in that cancer bout against Habib when he tripped over some wire. And then he came back and defeated Anthony Pettis by Dr. Stoppage. That was a really bloody fight. And then, of course, after that, he defeated Thomas Roy by another Dr. Stoppage. So that's where the good times end for Tony Ferguson. That was the last time we saw a version of Tony Ferguson that was getting wins. And then, of course, he fought against Justin Gaethje, and that is where all the deterioration, decline, and I would say the end of Tony Ferguson's career began right at the Justin Gaethje fight. In that fight, he took phenomenal amount of punishment for 5 rounds. He was getting dropped. He was getting knocked down. He was not getting finished. Even when Art Dean stepped in to stop the fight, Tony Ferguson was still moving. He was on his feet. But it was like he was punched around and it was like he was not functioning to the best of his abilities. He could not really defend himself at that point of time, but he was not unconscious. He was not on the ground. He was still moving, but he was not defense. He was not intelligently defending himself. And of course, after that, this losing streak. So this just brings my heart as an MMA fan, as a UFC fan, as someone who has grown up watching Tony Ferguson. After 24, when I started watching, like Tony was probably what? It was like 10 years back, 11 years back, maybe. I don't even remember. Like I was like 10, 11. So long time back, man. These guys were young at UG. He was, yeah, he was one of my heroes, growing up. And he's going to lose to this guy, like Salt Papi. Again, I'm nothing against Salt Papi. I haven't really seen much of him, but I've seen him fight. Like he knows how to box. I believe at this point of time, he's much better boxer than Tony Ferguson. So I assume that he's going to knock out Tony Ferguson. I believe that is what he has to do. Maybe not knockout, but a good, like a serious beating. I think he's going to put a serious beating on Tony Ferguson. I genuinely thought that watching, but yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad for me, man. A lot of people they say that why are there are no MMA fighters from certain countries? Well, because those, it is, if you are anybody, like you do not want your children or your best friend or your siblings or anybody who's close to you to become an MMA fighter. Trust me, you don't. You don't want them to go through a lot of this hardship and maybe they're earning money, but that, trust me, that the amount of money that these fighters make compared to the amount of damage that they're taking, it's not worth it. Trust me, it's not at all worth it. My prediction for this fight would be Salt Papi is going to win this fight. Probably a knockout or something. I think that's what is going to happen. He's a heavy favorite. Yeah. He's a crazy favorite. Yeah, 6 rounds. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. 80 minutes of fighting. Still more than, uh, yeah, now the main event. I believe, this is more of a close fight. Like this fight, I think this fight makes more sense because Darren Till recently has been looking good. Like not physically good, but he looks good when he's inside the boxing ring. And Darren Till is actually a good striker. Like he's one of the best, maybe not the best striker in UFC, but he's definitely a really good striker. Like the kryptonite of Darren Till was his grappling. His grappling was really shit. He got finished by Rodriguez Duplessis. That's no shame, but he also got finished by Karen Woodley. Who else? Like he got knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. So yeah, not exactly very defensively sound, but still he used to be a really good striker. Like his Muay Thai was really good. But his boxing bouts, I think he won against Mohamed Potier, and then after that he won against Anthony Taylor, and then Darren Stewart, which was in May 2025. So that was like what, 3 months back, and then defeated, and not exactly defeated, but he's going to win. I'm assuming that he's going to win against Luke Rockhold because Luke Rockhold has not been doing a lot of boxing, and Luke Rockhold is not exactly a better boxer than Darren Till, in my opinion. Luke Rockhold had better kicks. Luke Rockhold had better grappling. He had better uh wrestling, I believe, because he was training with Abib and DC and all of those guys. I believe he had better boxing, better wrestling. But I don't think his boxing is that good. Like pure boxing wise, I believe Darren Till is going to be the better boxer. So I think Darren Till is going to win this fight, probably by an unanimous decision. How many rounds is this fight? Let me check. 8 rounds. 8 rounds, 24 minutes. So this is going to be a long fight. If this goes for a decision, Darren Till, his cardio needs to be on point. But I believe that his cardio will be on point because they will just be striking. They won't be doing any kind of grappling. If this was a grappling bout, I would probably pick Luke Rockhold to win this one. Even though Luke Rockhold is like, what, 40? He's 40 years old. His MMA record is 16-6. So that goes to show that Luke Rockhold actually did not have that many fights in UFC. Yeah, he did not have. He had only like 22 fights. But 40 years old, 6'3", is going to be significantly bigger than Darren Till. I don't think so. I think they're probably going to be of same size. He defeated Joe Schilling. That's impressive in my opinion. There wasn't karate combat too. They were probably using kicks as well. Joe Schilling is actually a really good Muay Thai fight, but I believe he was much smaller than Luke Rockhold. And of course, he lost to Mike Perry, that bare naked fight. Mike Perry broke his tooth. Like, yeah, Luke Rockhold has also taken a lot of damage in his career. Like, He got knocked out by Miguel Romero, then got knocked out by Jan Blachowicz, then lost that fight against Paulo Costa. But that was a good fight. Like him versus Paulo Costa, even though both of them were really tired, but that was the last fight, retirement fight of Luke Rockhold from MMA, but he still looked good. But the fight against Mike Perry, that is where I believe his teeth injury is like he verbally stopped the fight. Like he could not continue because Mike Perry, it's hard. It's in a bare knuckle fight, Mike Perry is the guy. Like you don't want to go against Mike Perry in a bare knuckle fight. Somebody's going to fight Mike Perry in bare knuckle pretty soon, and that guy's going to get knocked out real quick. And of course, he lost his grappling match against Pratik Tarni. Uh, can Luke Rockhold win in this fight? Of course, there is always a possibility because this is boxing. I do not know jack shit about boxing. I know a couple of punches. I know how to throw, but that does not mean jack shit. Like I don't know. My knowledge regarding boxing is not that much compared to UFC or MMA in general. But still, I'm gonna pick Darren Till to win in this fight. And yeah, I guess that is what I wanted to talk about. I'm just really sad about Tony Ferguson that even after retirement at the age of 40, he still has to fight against YouTubers basically, and he's going to lose that fight. He's going to take a really bad beating. And as a fan, it kind of hurts to see that. But it is what it is. I mean, what can I say? You need the money, so I guess we should take going to a college, going to school, getting a job a little bit more seriously. Fighting is not exactly the way you earn money. Like, do not do that. I guess that is it, man. Like, share, comment in under this video, and yeah, subscribe to my channel. And peace out, guys. Peace out.